What car brand is most likely to make you go broke?
European cars, mostly Volkswagen, Volvos.
What car is most likely to make you go broke?
Audi. My friend has one and it's constantly in the shop.
How was it working as a mechanic in your younger days?
It was good and very rewarding. However, my body is now paying the price.
And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
26.
Audi versus Volvo.
I'd have to go with Audi. Even though I don't like Euros.
Audi versus Volvo.
You're looking for fun? Audi. You're looking for safety? Volvo. Sounds Audi, y'all.
Why? You don't like Volvo?
Volvo's like, oh, I hate those things. I'm gonna go with that.
Ask a technician what car they don't want in their service bay. Volvo often lands on that list. Not because the cars fall apart, well, they don't always do, but because simple repairs can turn into long diagnostics, software updates, and expensive parts. If you own one or plan to buy one, this video matters. Welcome back to the channel, and we're going down the line of the worst car brands to buy. Today's topic, Volvo.
Just a regular day working on a Volvo, replacing a purge valve. This is the purge valve right here. Line going in, line going out. Real simple, right? It's just a purge valve. And then you look at the part, and this is what the part looks like. What the? Look at this. 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 You gotta be kidding me, bro. Volvo. Always Volvo. Doing the dumbest shit. I don't understand what the f is going on with Volvo. It's like the engineers are high on something when they're designing the vehicle. Are you kidding me? You couldn't have made a purge valve that you can fucking easily pull it out, pull it back in, clamp the shit out of it, and fucking car's all set? No, you gotta fucking replace the whole thing under the car, put the car up in the air, take the bottom liners out just to get this piece of shit ass line all the way in there. Excuse. Just a regular.
Man, I had to heavily edit that one to show you how upset this mechanic is. Mechanics hate working on Volvo vehicles come down to how these cars are actually engineered. Modern Volvos, they pack a lot of electronics and software into the vehicle, and that helps power the advanced safety systems they have, but it also makes repairs slower. Industry data shows Volvo holds a 3.5 out of 5 reliability rating, and they rank 17th out of 32 brands according to RepairPal reliability data. Volvo owners also spend about $769 per year on maintenance and parts, which is higher than many mainstream brands. So the cars, they aren't the least reliable.
I mean, they have made such a great effort here to make sure you never open this hood and you can't figure out a thing. Volvo's always been doing this. The engine cover, for example. You have these plastic Torx, screws or fasteners or whatever you want to call them to hold it. Why? It costs you more. It adds more to service just to remove a cover. And then we look at everything else. For lack of a better word, there is a sea of cheapo plastic fittings everywhere. And on top of that, that was not enough. There are some hoses, but they have one-time use clamps. And the strangest type I've never seen. I mean, a radiator hose, you want to remove it? Yeah, you have to replace a clamp, and you have to possibly destroy the hose to get the clamp off. Why? I mean, you already put a clamp. Why don't we just put a reusable clamp where we can take it off, do what we need to do, and then put it back? No, not here. Here's the biggest problem with powertrains like this. They're one-off, and they're very strange and very different than any other car. Going to repair one requires an enormous amount of special tools. The special tools that no shop will seem like we see enough of these to really justify it. That's the problem. So if you own one of these cars or you're planning to buy one, just keep in mind, dealership is your only source or very handful of Volvo specialty shop, although they'll usually want to work on the good old ones, not the modern complicated ones. Heads up on that. Then there are a few other observations. Half this car is probably put together with a few clips. I mean, they have made such a great effort here.
But the thing is, the technicians, they know that repairs can take longer than expected. Before we go any further, subscribe to the channel. This channel explains how the auto industry actually works. No marketing talk, just real examples from the repair side.
What's doing? We always talk about these European cars. I mean, expensive to fix, can be nice to drive, not reliable, expensive to fix. Let's have a look at this thing behind me. Lovely Volvo, not over 10 kilometers an hour. And we have a blown out flange. blown the seals here, popped off the turbo off this end, plastic molded. What do you think the value of that is? Write in the comments here below what you think. Right. Are you prepared? In here. Come in there. This little pot. Nearly $1,000 retail price on this. Volvo. What do we say? So, yeah, $1,000 for that pipe. They've got them in stock in Brisbane, so they're obviously common to break. I just don't understand that. How can they justify nearly $1,000 that bit of plastic pipe with 2 bits of rubber in it? That's why we say stay with Japanese. Much cheaper to get parts, much easier to get parts, much more reliable. Yeah, look, you know, that might drive nicer than the Camry, but your Camry's going to do 400,000 kilometres, no dramas. Obviously, it's a turbo diesel. I know what you're going to say, settle down. But what I'm saying is, you know, you're looking at something like that. A Japanese vehicle is going to be lasting longer, cheaper to fix, and easy to get parts for. We've warned you.
Everything in modern Volvos, they run on electronics. Modern Volvos, they rely heavily on electronics. Sensors, radar units, cameras, and control modules that sit across the vehicle. Driver assist systems like adaptive cruise control and lane keeping depend on those components. When something fails, the issue rarely points to one simple part. Technicians, they often spend hours scanning modules and tracing electrical signals. That diagnostic time, it actually adds up. And Volvos also depend heavily on software. Many repairs require programming after a part gets installed. Dealers use Volvo's VIDA diagnostic systems, VIDA, and they use it to scan and update the vehicle's modules. Independent shops may not have full access to these systems, and that means some repairs must go back to the dealer.
Volvos, and I was having this conversation with someone. The more powerful it is, the more problematic it is. Yeah, it's because they keep adding tech to make it more powerful. Yeah. So on the T5, you just have a turbo. Fantastic. Simple, straight, easy, very powerful. By the way, we are talking about 300 plus. 250. Oh yeah, 250. Yeah. It was on the turbo. Yeah. Then after that, we had a supercharger. So that's on the T6. Yeah, the T6. So at that point now we're in the 300s. Yeah, 300 plus horsepower mark. But then that's more complications, more things to go wrong. You have 2 things that are going to easily give you problems. Yes. And then after that, now we get into the T8, which is now turbo, supercharged, and hybrid. It's insanely powerful. 500. No. It's still under 400. Under 400. Still under 400 by the way. It's not that powerful. Unless you get a Polestar. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the Polestar that is on the 500. Still, they don't get there. No way. I kid you not. It's like just I think around mid 300s, like 350 to 400. Yeah. They just add like 20 horsepower on the Polestar. It's not that powerful, but it's powerful. Yes. You know, for Kenyan roads, 300 horsepower is a lot. It is.
And that's in Africa. And all this talk about the vehicles going more and more in terms of the upgrade, it means that all these repairs have to go back to the dealer, which is going to mean more time, which means more cost to the owner.
This video is for Volvo USA and Volvo only. Feel free to scroll if that's not you, or stick around and maybe tag them in the comments, because I have quite a conundrum. I have an 18-year-old college student who bought her car with her own money. She loves her 2015 S60. And I mean, when I say loves, like, this girl's planning on going to law school, and she says that she is going to be a Volvo owner for life. She really loves her car. So imagine my surprise when we took it to the mechanic today, because she had a shake between 45 and 55 miles an hour, fully expecting that it was just going to be a wheel balancing issue. And turns out that she needs a front passenger CV axle. That on its own is totally scary enough because of the cost. But the mechanic says that they can't get the part. He said that they spent 2 hours trying to source it. They contacted every single part supplier that they know of. They also contacted 3 separate Volvo dealerships and were told that the part has been discontinued. Volvo no longer makes this part for a 10-year-old car. So I guess my question is, what are we supposed to do? Do you have some secret warehouse of parts in Sweden where you might have this? Are we supposed to just like live
Yeah, this is someone who obviously doesn't know anything about cars. And once you get to that stage, you know you have to start sourcing used parts or go to a junkyard. Volvo is a European brand. Parts usually cost more than parts for Japanese or domestic vehicles. And some components, they come only from Volvo. Means aftermarket options can be limited. Labor also adds up quickly, and service survey shows dealership labor often reaches between $150 to $200 per hour in many markets. So repairs, they are going to escalate quickly.
on duct tape and dreams. Part of the reason she bought this car is because of the safety. It's all-wheel drive, it's good on gas, and now it's a paperweight. Well, it's not a paperweight, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like, at some point, it's going to have to get fixed. And with what? So if you've got any suggestions, I'm listening. But color me frustrated.
Well, and the junkyard or aftermarket parts is going to be her best friend. Limited options are basically just get rid of the vehicle. Volvo designed their vehicles with very strong safety structures and compact packaging, and that leaves little room under the hood. Technicians often remove several components just to reach one part. A repair that takes about 30 minutes on another car might take about 2 hours on a Volvo.
You want to talk about a really good luxury vehicle that probably doesn't get a lot more attention, especially in the United States, is Volvo. Volvo XC90s have been rated to be the safest vehicle on the planet for like 15 years in a row now. Though, yes, sometimes those repairs are going to be a bitch, and sometimes they're a little bit more expensive. But, you know, talking about a car that has got great luxury items with it here, has a lot of bells and whistles, goes over the top when it comes to the interior aspects, has reliability, has durability. Yes, every car's going to have their problems, but when it comes to those problems, that, you know, they're pretty fair when it comes to their pricing, and they're not the hardest to work with here. They're not the hardest to diagnose either. Volvo. You want to talk about a really good luxury.
But he can also add that Volvo leads in safety technology, but that technology requires calibration after certain repairs. And replacing a bumper or a camera may require radar or sensor alignment, and that requires specialized equipment. Without calibration, safety systems will not function correctly. So repair shops must invest in expensive tools just to service these vehicles.
So I'm a big fan of Volvo, and this specific dealership has an amazing reputation down in Toronto, and I know for a fact. But I have one problem with Volvo. They don't change their cars. Every car is the same thing as it was before. They just make a bigger screen, and then they add this fountain thing underneath the screen, and then they make it a little bit of a more plug-in hybrid and a mild plug-in hybrid and a hard plug-in hybrid. And then they change the wheels a little bit. And okay, we get it. It's a really safe car. You guys win. It's a nice car. It's a luxury car. It's a safe car, but it's time to move on to something different. And I'm not talking about Polestar. Polestar doesn't count as something different. Polestar is a Chinese manufacturer that you help them with your same design. Volvo, move on.
Many mechanics, they respect the older Volvo models. The classic rear-wheel drive cars from the 1980s and the 1990s were durable and they were simple. They used fewer electronics. Repairs were straightforward. Modern Volvo vehicles moved towards advanced platforms with heavy software integration, and that shift changed the repair experience. Technicians who grew up working on older Volvos often noticed the difference immediately.
What car brand is most likely to make you go broke?
European cars, mostly Volkswagen, Volvos.
What car is most likely to make you go broke?
Audi. My friend has one and it's constantly in the shop.
What car is most likely to make you go broke?
A BMW or a Mercedes, you're talking $500 just for them to say hello when you go through the service department.
What car is most likely to make you go broke?
Hey, that's luxury.
What car brand is most likely to make you go broke?
A lot of people will be surprised how much an EV can cost you when it comes to a battery going bad. I know Tesla, they could be 15, 20 grand for a battery.
We'll eventually move on to BMW and Mercedes as this series goes on. So why do mechanics hate working on Volvo vehicles? It usually comes down to about 3 things. 1, heavy electronics. 2, software-driven repairs. And 3, labor that takes longer than expected. Volvo focuses heavily on safety and advanced technology, and that benefits the drivers, but it makes life harder for the technician holding the wrench. If you're thinking about buying a Volvo, understanding the repair side helps you make a better decision.
You
these new cars now, you remember like the window regulator would go down and the motor would go down? You put one in and you're good to go. Have a great day. Yeah, you put one in, you gotta reprogram that motor. I don't, yeah, I program it. I turn the fucking computer on. I'm a program your motor. I did a Volvo turn signal bulb. Easy job. Comes in, turn signal bulb don't work. I get the bulb, I put it in, 12 require signal bulb in, still color for it now. Scan tool. It works with scan tool. After you change the bulb, you gotta do a whole relearn and reset process with scan tool for a stupid turn signal bulb.
You got a Volvo it?
Yeah, we've got a Volvo in.
I thought you still reliable.
They are super reliable, but even a car being reliable, it still always needs an oil service and an oil filter replacement, and this is what this Volvo is in for. Some people would say a service maybe every 10,000 miles. I would say less, to be honest. 6,000, 7,000 is enough just for an oil change. Every car, reliable or not, always needs a service. Service changing oil maintains the components to keep them solid, strong, lubricated well, clean, and obviously causes less damage down the line for your engine.
If you want more honest insights about car repairs and how the auto industry really works, subscribe to the channel. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. The links are in the description box below. Stay sharp, stay educated, and I will catch you in the next one.